welcome you to the 2011 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships presented by Buick. We're on the campus of Cleveland State University here at the Wallstein Center. Hello again, everyone. I'm Tim Brando, and by my side is the team captain of the 1996 gold medal Olympic winning team, Amanda Borden. And Amanda, UCLA does return for Valerie Kondos Field as the defending champion, but what a balanced field they're going up against.
It is going to be tough. The Bruins came out in the semifinals looking poised, ready to defend the title until their very last event, the balance beam, where they had multiple stumbles. The question for them in the finals is going to be, can they mentally defend the title, as they have the exact same rotation finishing on the balance beam. Alabama is right on their tail, ready to reclaim this championship. They are seeded #1 and had the highest semifinal score out of all 6 teams. Tim, the good news for Bama, they have the preferred rotation starting on the vault and ending on the floor.
KJ Kindler has her Oklahoma team back in the Super Six. They finished second a year ago, and in the semifinals were the only team to have mastered the beam by scoring over 49. And for Nebraska, this is a senior-laden squad that Dan Kindig brings in. This is his 10th trip to the Super Six, but their first since 2007.
And Utah, who always flies under the radar, but they were just holding their breath in the semifinals to squeak past Florida, who was ranked #1 for most of the season. Greg and Megan Marsden will continue to hold their breath today as they start on the most difficult event, the balance beam. And don't count out Michigan, who may seem like a surprise because this is their first Super Six appearance since 2005. They had a strong semifinals performance and are led by the 2011 all-around champion, Kylie Botterman. There are 6 very strong teams, and it is anybody's national championship.
All right, Amanda, and here in the first rotation, Alabama will be on vault, Utah the beam, Nebraska on bars, and Oklahoma on floor exercise. UCLA and Michigan have buys, and a reminder, the worst score will be thrown out on each event. Alabama head coach Sarah Patterson in her 33rd year as head coach at the Capstone. 4 national titles in her career dating back to 1988. Their last in 2002. Her team is really riding high coming into the finals. Here is sophomore Ashley Sledge from Fairview Heights, Illinois.
This is Alabama's best event, and the reason being is they have dynamic vaults. Of course, the most common vault we're going to see is Yurchenko full. You can see great height, beautiful form in the air, and the reason this is popular is it's a 10-0 start value, and it's easy to get a good landing on that.
You'll see a lot of this today. Dad's taking pictures. There's her father, also named Ashley. And Sarah Patterson's got to be pleased with that score, Amanda, 9.925. Dan Kindig, the longtime coach at Nebraska, a Big 12 power. They were ranked 9th as the Nationals began. And first up, Janelle Giblin from San Ramon, California, on the uneven bars.
This is a great event for Nebraska, but the key is, can you come out not having been in the Super Six all that often and handle the pressure? She opens right up with the release move, Ginger. You can see from that angle how precise these athletes have to be to not only catch the bar, but hit those vertical lines, the 2 things the judges are looking for. Finishing it out, full twisting double back, great landing. Nice start.
Now, she's really one of the younger gymnasts on this team. This is a veteran team that has maximized all year long for Nebraska. And her score, a 9.875. Her best score this year on that apparatus. Utah, one of the traditional dynasties in gymnastics, coached by Megan and Greg Marsden. They've authored one of the really great runs, 9 NCAA titles. And today's version is a young but talented group. In the semis, they had a bye in the last rotation and had to watch Florida, the #1 team most of this season, come close to knocking them out. Here's Jacqueline Johnson on the beam.
Well, this is a tough place to start, and the reason being is you come out in the competition with a lot of adrenaline, and this is the only event that adrenaline does not help. You want your athletes to get up and do exactly what they do every day in practice. Stay calm, hit their routines. Back handspring layout, step out just like that. Jump connection, split jump to a tuck full. Most important part is that first person getting up and nailing the routine so the team feels confident. She finishes it out, round off double full. Nice start.
Oh, and especially on this apparatus, because it's been so difficult here at the Nationals. And her score, a 9.725 for Utah. Oklahoma head coach K.J. Kindler led the Sooners to their first Super 6 appearance a year ago. Many believe her team has a great chance to win it all. The floor exercise is underway. Their sensation Madison Mooring of Sallisaw, Oklahoma.
One thing KJ said was that there was a little more pressure because once you make the Super 6, everybody expects you to continue to make it. That's her second tumbling pass, whip half right to Rudy. So she was proud of her team to be able to handle that pressure to qualify out of the semifinals into this competition once again. You see the gymnasts are performing on the podium surface. Does add a little bit of bounce to this event. Floor exercise, you might see difficulty with landing, but not one there.
Yeah, you'd think maybe we'll have some slips because of it, right? Because you get higher off the ground than normal.
Exactly. A little adrenaline, a little extra bounce can cause some out of bounds and trouble landing big passes. But a solid start there.
The pride of Bigsby High School in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. Her score 9.775. We're underway here in Cleveland.
The NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships, presented by Buick, is sponsored by LG. Life's good. Powerade Ion 4, the official sports drink of the NCAA. And by the Hartford. With the Hartford behind you, achieve what's ahead of you.
This is the 30th anniversary of this championship, and throughout the show we'll look back at some of the great moments from the past. And we start with Megan Marsden reminiscing about Utah's 92 super team led by a dominating performance by Olympian Missy Marlowe.
In Minneapolis, Minnesota in 1992 was a very exciting year for us. We were fortunate enough to win the team championship, and we won the events as well and the all-around. So it was kind of a sweep of Utah, and that was an exciting year.
Missy Marlowe won 4 individual championships in that meet, including the all-around, bars, beam, and floor. And Greg Marsden, along with Megan, got a national championship. Amanda, was that the best team ever?
Well, you know, only a precious few teams have won this title, and there are a lot of great teams that have had great runs. But this was by far the first great collegiate team.
Here's Stephanie McAllister of Utah, junior from Indianapolis, and Perry Meridian High School already underway on the beam.
Opened with a beautiful tumbling series. They look very confident and calm. Remember, 10, you'll see every gymnast performing those tumbling sequences, jump combinations. Like that, earning points back to receive a 10.0 start value.
Again, a reminder, in the semifinals, only Oklahoma as a team bettered the number of 49. So this has been the problem spot for literally every team in the Nationals.
Solid so far, dismounting, round off double full. Good landing, good routines, not going to be a huge score, but at this point, like you said, just staying on this event is a great accomplishment.
Yeah, it's really more about survival here in Cleveland. 9.80 on the beam for Stephanie. There is Sarah Patterson of Alabama, very lonely this year. You know, this is the first time since the Super 6 format began in '93 that only one school from the SEC has made it to the finals. Here is one of her best, Marissa Gutierrez of Houston, Texas. She's ready with her vault.
Performing Yurchenko full. Beautiful. Tim, most teams have 1 or 2 great vaulters. The reason Alabama is so good, they have 6 strong vaults, 6 big scores.
Her dad, Mario, and mom, Anna, looking on, very pleased, as is Marissa with that vault. Alabama off to a good start, 9.90 her score. Over on the bars, Nebraska's Brittany Habib is ready to go.
Bouncing right up to the high bar. Great stalder work here. Beautiful blind change. Front stalder, very difficult. Into an immediate Jaeger. Beautiful height. She bails right to the low bar. You can see that perfect vertical line. 2 main things the judges are looking for, of course, is vertical positions and landings right there.
Oh, a little bit of a lean on the dismount, but no step. And Dan Kendig is proud. She is all smiles, and understandably so, a 9.85 for Brittany Habib. Meanwhile, already underway on the floor is Oklahoma's Sarah Stone.
See some creative choreography. The reason the crowd typically loves this event, you really get to see the personality of the athletes. Beautiful. Leap pass.
Little attitude to go with it.
One tumbling pass to go. Finishing her routine out. Round off 1.5. The immediate front layout. Perfect landing. Very nice. We're picking up some momentum.
Yes, they are, and it's a good place to start the floor. Oklahoma making a real case early for their coach, KJ Kindler, and it's a 9.85 for Sarah Stone. Keep an eye through the course of this finals on Kayla Hoffman, one of the senior leaders for this Alabama team. Here she is on vault. They have very high hopes. This four-time All-America will be a pivotal part of it.
Another Yurchenko layout full. Wow, you won't see too many vaults like that in this competition.
A very emotional father, Richard, looking on as his daughter just absolutely nailed it, sticking the landing on that vault for Sarah Patterson. A 9.95 for Kayla Hoffman. Over at the beam, a very different story where Utah's junior Courtney Beers from Tulsa had a problem.
Well, she struggled on her tumbling series. You can see right here, back handspring layout. The back foot completely sideways, turned her hips. Great fight, though. She stayed on the beam, so the score of a 9.65 could have been worse.
So now the challenge is to Mary Beth Lofgren to handle the pressure of the beam despite that slip by Beers. She's already underway.
Well, it's a tough position to be in because you're following the mistake. Are you doubting in your mind? The biggest thing is they need to pick the momentum back up. Back handspring layout, step out. Very nice. Little smile there.
There haven't been too many on the beam. You're right about that.
Just a reminder, 6 routines up, but they only count 5 scores. So hoping to obviously throw Courtney's score out. She finishes her routine. One arm cartwheel right to a gainer full. Great landing.
Oh, yeah. You can see she's proud of it, too.
Well, nothing like having a mistake and being the one to get you back in the ballgame.
I mean, you could have lived with the 9.65, but you'd far prefer that. 9.85. Now let's get back over to the uneven bars where senior Maria Scafidi from Heartland, Wisconsin had some real questions coming into this event. She got hurt in the semifinals, actually during this performance on this apparatus.
Well, she felt her knee pop when she landed her dismount, so they checked the stability, gave her the go-ahead, but you can see definitely was in pain.
Now during the warm-ups, you can see Dan Kindig was watching very closely, and she had all kinds of issues.
Well, even though she got the go-ahead, it was still difficult to even punch off the board. And, of course, on this event, she does have a dismount. So she is prepared to go, but you have to wonder, is there doubt in her mind? Can her leg handle the landing on this routine?
And this is the only event she competes in, so a very important moment for her and for Nebraska.
Giant full right to a Tkachev. Brings it down to the low bar with the shoot over. Winds it up, finishes out with a double layout. Wow, stable or not, it was no problem on that landing.
Dan Kindig said, that's what we needed, that's what I'm talking about. What a wonderful way for her to finish her season. And an outstanding score to go with it. Maria, along with Emily Wong, a 9.875 to lead Nebraska to 49-3 on bars. While Scafidi was on bars, Deandra Milliner for Alabama from Wichita, Kansas, looking to put the finishing touches on a great showing on vault.
Well, very difficult vault. Yurchenko 1.5. Very nice. You don't see a lot of athletes do that vault because it's a blind landing. There's a lot of risk not being able to stick it. Let's take another look, though. Not only was it a difficult vault, watch how much distance she gets. If you can do that vault with that much distance, you will get a big score.
Yeah, she can win the long jump and the vault all at once. And there you see the cumulative score. Fantastic for Bama, 49.575. Over to the floor, Kayla Novak is already underway from Oklahoma.
Can see a lot of personality and some very fun sound effects.
I should mention now that this is the favorite event of my partner, Amanda Borden.
What I love watching is the crowd gets into it, but their teammates are pretty much doing the exact same routine on the sidelines. Finishing with the Rudy, great landing. They started out a little rough in this rotation, but they definitely picked up much better scores in the end of the lineup there.
The super sophomore from the state of Illinois, very happy. And understandably so. But if you look at the cumulative scores for Oklahoma, it was solid, but perhaps not good enough. They dug themselves a bit of a hole because of Alabama's scintillating start on vault. And here's Amanda with Megan Marsden of Utah.
Wow, what a great start. Beam was a big issue in the semifinals. I'll tell you what, it looks like you guys came out with a vengeance.
We did, and I'm really proud of my athletes because that's an event we've had to try to overcome this year, and that was our best beam round by far.
Well, it's not easy to start on that event, so you have to be confident. A great starting score. What's it going to take to stay in the game here?
Well, we got to build from there, I think, and we're capable of that. But the nice thing is that we've been there, and other teams have to go there. So, you never know how that rolls around later on. So we'll just take it one more event and go from there.
Well, good luck to you guys.
All right, when we come back, the defending champions, UCLA. They're next. And now LG presents Life's Good Moments.
You always dream about having a team that can qualify and be good enough to qualify in nationals. And then once it actually came true, obviously it was something that, that we won't never forget.
We have so much pride. It was in the back of our minds all season. We wanted to make it to nationals, and we just kept striving and kept working hard for it. And to make history and be the first team to ever make it to nationals is just a tremendous feeling.
Our congratulations to Kent State and to the host committee, who, by the way, sought some help from Dominic Mocianu, your old teammate.
That's right. It was like a little reunion in Cleveland. Dominique, J.C. Phelps, myself, and even our coach, Mary Lee Tracy, all in the house.
And your home Cincinnati not that far away. The second rotation has Oklahoma at the vault. Nebraska will challenge the beam. Michigan emerges on bars, and the defending champions, UCLA, begin on floor exercise. And they'll have to do it this year without their leader, Vanessa Zamaripa, who really was the catalyst in their national championship. How much do you think Valerie Condos Field will miss her?
Well, anytime you lose a key player, it affects the team. She's a key all-around gymnast as well as a leader for this team. So a little more added pressure on the shoulders of everybody else on this squad.
All right, already underway on the floor is junior Tawny Fratone.
Tim, every time I see UCLA on the floor, I think there's almost a notch above everybody when it comes to choreography. You forget that they're doing a gymnastics routine. It seems more like a theatrical performance.
And you begin to wonder also who will establish themselves as the team leader in the finals with Zamaripa's absence.
At this point, you really need everybody to step up and be a leader because this is a tough, very tight competition. You need 5 big scores across all 4 events. Beautiful Rudy. Last tumbling pass.
Tawny Fratone of UCLA. The Bruins begin their defense after the bye in the opening rotation. And a 9.825. They've got quite a contingent here from the West Coast. Let's get over to the beam now, where Nebraska's Maddie Steinauer, the senior from Omaha, is underway.
Well, they had a great bar performance, so they have some good momentum, but this event was shaky for everybody in the semifinals. And really, it's going to challenge the mental toughness of every team who can block out what happened and start fresh today.
Dan Kindig would tell you she's probably one of the most stable gymnasts he has.
Oh! Wow. Wow, that is a very difficult dismount. She did her entire tumbling series directly connected to the dismount. Started going a hair crooked, and that back foot just slipped off.
Well, they're going to have to hope that someone picks her up. An 8.95. You can see she's encouraging her teammates. Let's get over to the vault now, where Oklahoma's redshirt sophomore Natasha Kelly hopes to get the Sooners off to a good start.
She's performing a Yurchenko Arabian. It's another blind landing like we saw earlier, but it's minus a complete full twist. Very nice. Solid vault. So we saw Alabama's team do a 1.5 twist. This only had a half twist. It was clean, it was good, but you can see it was very close into the table. If you remember, Milner did the 1.5. She's almost 3 or 4 feet past that. So it'll be a good score, but not the same vaults we saw with Alabama.
And particularly given that incredible score Alabama had as a team, they're going to need to improve upon that. Bev Plotke of Michigan has her Wolverines in the Super 6 for the first time since 2005, and one of her veterans, senior Jordan Sexton, is ready to go. Parents looking on, Martin and Heather anticipating this opportunity for their daughter.
Well, and how exciting for this senior class to be back in the Super 6. What an experience. Opens up with a huge Tkachev. Beautiful. A great combination of blind change to immediate straddle back handstand. All that's left is the dismount. She ends with a very difficult double front, which is a blind landing. I did this dismount. I know how hard it is to stick. Very nice. You see a step back there, but a clean routine.
And Martin and Heather are quite happy. And they should be. Their daughter with a solid performance. Back over to the vault now, where Oklahoma is looking to make up some ground against Alabama after the first rotation. And here is Madison Mooring.
We're going to see another Yurchenko Arabian. Very nice, but those front landings are almost impossible to stick. They need 9-9s to make up ground. And with those small hops, it's almost impossible.
The Sooner Nation is out in force. And the score is 9.825 for Madison Mooring. Meanwhile, earlier over on the floor, Nikki Tom, the senior from Northridge, California, had a real problem.
Well, she struggled with her second tumbling pass, a pass that she can probably do in her sleep. She does a split jump out, almost leaning back into the punch front, and just traveled backwards, getting not enough height nor rotation.
I mean, this is an elite gymnast, Tom, we're talking about. Very rare that you'd see that kind of mistake. Now freshman Sydney Sawa will have to pick up her teammate.
Well, it's a lot of pressure for a freshman, and we talked about, is this team mentally tough enough to defend this title? Well, we're going to see how they react right now, because that is the score they want to throw out.
Yeah, well, they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves early in the finals.
One thing Val takes a lot of pride in is helping them prepare to handle adversity. There should be no doubt in the rest of the teammates, because this is one of their best events. They should be able to pull out of this no problem.
Just wonder if they can always push the on button when they have to.
Finishing it out with a double pike. A very difficult pass.
Oh.
Great landing. So far, so good.
How about that from the freshman? Wow. And the contingent from Bruin Country very happy, and they should be. A 9.90 as Valerie gives Sydney a well-deserved hug. Now let's take our first look at the 2011 NCAA All-Around champion, Kylie Botterman.
She's going to mount right up to the high bar. Back up rise, immediate pirouette. Great combination work, giant full to Tkachev. She's the all-around champion because she has big skills, beautiful lines, great form, and most importantly, it always comes down to these landings. Watch this dismount. Full twisting double layout. Wow. You won't see too many girls even do that dismount, but then to nail it like that.
Her mom and dad, Hank and Laurie, looking on. She's been busy planning a wedding, too. She's going to marry a former Michigan hockey star, Chad Kalary. Nebraska's sophomore Brittany Skinner is already underway on the beam.
So far, this has been a great routine. Coming back, leap pass, switch leap to a straddle jump quarter. They struggled with that first routine up. Puts a lot of pressure on the last 5 in the lineup. But you know, most of these athletes train for this kind of moment in the gym. The pressure's on. We call them pressure sets. Can you handle the pressure? Switch side. Dismounting, round off 1.5. Very nice routine.
Yeah, that's quite a finish for Brittany Skinner. A 9.80 for Brittany. Well, you talk about stories of inspiration. We found them. Michigan's Trish Wilson, one of the most courageous athletes, will be on display this afternoon. You'll see her on the bars momentarily. But another unmatched moment in the history of this event, Kentucky's Jenny Hansen. She was the sport's only 3-time consecutive all-around champion, capturing her titles from 1993 to 1995, inducted into Kentucky's Athletic Hall of Fame. Jenny Hansen. Oh, she saw the sign. Here's a young lady we never thought we'd see at the Nationals again, Trish Wilson, a story of great courage as she chalks up. What an incredible story, and the subject of our Capital One NCAA Impact Performance.
I've had quite a few knee surgeries, and I've torn my ACL 4 times. If it wasn't for the support of my team, my coaches, and my family, the decision not to come back would have been a lot easier. It's hard to stay away from a team of such unbelievable women.
I've never had an athlete like Trish Wilson before. The passion that she has for the sport is unbelievable, and to go through the things that she's gone through and to come back as many times as she has, with as hard as that is to do, nothing would make me happier than to see her finish her career doing a bar routine in finals.
And that's our Capital One NCAA Impact Performance. Hers was not the only inspirational story, though, Amanda. All-arounder Amy Glass of Boise State overcame a broken neck 2 years ago to compete this year.
Well, Tim, I can tell you I've come back from many injuries, never quite to this extent, but I have a lot of respect for these athletes and the amount of courage it takes to work through these kind of injuries.
Amazing. Really is. Inspirational. All right, here's Trish on bars. It's her best event in Ann Arbor at the regionals. Her highest score came on bars in the semifinals.
She has tremendous difficulty throughout this routine. Opens right up with the release move from the low bar up to the high bar. Brings it right back down. Perfect handstand there. Another great combination in bar Ginger. You can see how precise between the bars she has to be. All that's left is the dismount. Huge double layout. Wow. I'm not sure she left any room for any deductions.
Jim and Maureen, mom and dad, yeah, throw the hat. It's graduation time for your daughter. Near perfection, a 9.95 for Trish Wilson. All right, let's quickly, Amanda, get over to the vault. Here's freshman Hope Bruce of McKinney, Texas, for Oklahoma.
They need a big vault right here. Yurchenko layout full. There it is. Good landing. That's what they need right there to start making some ground.
Yeah, the fans are thinking 10. Let's take a look at another view.
Well, she had great block right off the table, beautiful body position, decent distance, but most importantly, perfect landing.
That landing usually sticks in the minds of the judges, doesn't it? 9.90 for Hope Bruce. All right, over to floor exercise now, where UCLA's Elise Hopfner-Hibbs, a 2008 Olympian for Canada. She actually medaled in 06 in the World Championships with a bronze on the beam. Here she is on floor.
1.5, front layout half, right to a Shushanova. She really draws you in with her attitude. She commands your attention. UCLA has these difficult last passes, double pike. You see some teams open with that pass. They finish with it, and a good landing.
Yeah, that was a world-class performance, wasn't it?
Very nice.
Elise Hopfner-Hibbs with a 9.90, sort of a business-like approach to that performance. Now, Nebraska's Janelle Giblin is back up for the Huskers on the beam. We join her in progress.
Combination to a side semi. Comes back full turn. Small wobble there. We've mentioned throughout this competition, it's really just to put up 5 decent scores on this event to stay in the game. They had that mistake early on, so the pressure has fallen on the back half of the lineup, round off 1.5. And they hung in there. They got the job done. You can see, I think she's pleased, but they know it wasn't their best performance.
All right, so there you see the cumulative scores under 49. Giblin with a 9.750 for Nebraska. Let's get back over to Floor X. You talk about outstanding. Another elite gymnast here, the 2010 Floor X champion, Brittany McCullough.
We'll talk about attitude. Watch this. It's a brand new routine for her, and I had a chance to see it early in the season, and she said, I hope the crowd likes it. But when you strut your stuff like that, they typically do. The good news for Brittany is she has the big attitude and draws you in, but she matches it with even bigger tumbling ending, double tuck, little bounce back there.
Just an explosive gymnast with another outstanding performance for the defending champions.
They pulled it off. They hung in there.
That they did after struggles at the beginning. 3 straight 9.90s in floor exercise, and they find themselves at 49.350. Oklahoma leading the way, but if you look at the averages, Alabama's still sitting very pretty, as is Michigan after the first couple of rotations. Here's Amanda with Dan Kindig.
Dan, you've talked about the confidence of this team all season long. You came out big on the bars. Beam started out rough. How proud of you are the back half of that lineup?
Well, I'll tell you what, when our first girl goes up and she's our one that's been steady Eddie all year, misses, wow. And then the rest of them to step up. Yeah, maybe they were a little more nervous. It took a wobble or two, but they stayed on and kept us in the meet. So that's all that's really important right now.
Well, and it's been a few years since you've been on the floor at the Super 6. How special is this moment for Nebraska?
Really is. I think more than anything else for the team. They bought into what we've asked them to do all year long. They've worked hard. Our senior class has been amazing, and they've pretty much helped us through this whole thing, and it's special for them.
Well, because of the beam, Nebraska won't win the team title this year, but they have had a couple of all-around champions. In 2000, Heather Brink became the first all-around champion. 3 years later, Rochelle Simpson repeated the feat.
It's gonna be May.
Welcome you back to Cleveland, Ohio, the birthplace of rock and roll and the home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where the NCAA held their annual gymnastics awards banquet. Alabama's Rachel Terry was presented with the NCAA Elite 88 Award as the athlete with the highest GPA at this year's Nationals. Some other awards were handed out here in Cleveland, the individual championships.
That's right. Georgia's Kat Ding was this year's bar champion with a score of a 9.9125. Ding became the 38th individual champion in Georgia history, an NCAA record.
And to just work all year long and be first finally at the end of the year, I mean, it's rewarding, very.
Congratulations. Florida may not have made the Super 6, but they did not go home empty-handed. Marissa King with this vault took home the title and a score of a 9.875.
On the floor, it was Geraldine Stack-Eaton of Alabama who took top honors to become the first Alabama floor champion since Morgan Dennis in 2007.
And last but not least, Sam Peshek of UCLA was the only individual competitor to score a 9.9, bringing home this year's balance beam title.
I'm very happy with the score, and I'm more excited about my routine and the level of difficulty that I was able to bring to the collegiate level.
Congratulations to this year's individual champion. Back at the Wallstein Center in Cleveland, we head to the third rotation. UCLA will head to the vault. Michigan moves over to beam. Alabama to the uneven bars, and Utah is on the floor. Oklahoma and Nebraska each with buys, and Alabama's Ashley Sledge starts things off for Bama on the uneven bars.
Throughout this competition, it's not just great gymnastics. These teams have tremendous difficulty packed into these routines. Ashley being one of those particular bar routines. Great combination work. Finishing it out with a ginger. Beautiful extension as she caught the bar. She also has probably one of the biggest dismounts I've ever seen. She finishes this routine with a double layout, but that's not the difficult part. She does it completely above the bar.
How about that extension?
Talk about dynamic. Very nice start for Alabama.
No doubt about it. A 9.85 for Ashley Sledge. Now, let's catch up with Utah's Mary Beth Log for an on-the-floor exercise.
She's already completed 2 of her tumbling passes, so she only has 1 left. Finishes her routine out with a front tumbling pass, a Rudy to an immediate layout step out. Beautiful form and a great landing.
The high level of competition being what it is, you've got to take advantage on floor exercise. And there's her dad, Dan, her mom, Dina, excited about Mary Beth. And her score is a 9.75. Now we need to get back over to the beam. Michigan freshman Joanna Sampson from Willow Grove, Pennsylvania is already underway.
Flight series, a little balance check there. Typically at this level, when you see those balance checks on landings, a lot of it is that they're just not pulling up confidently into the correct positions. And a lot of that comes with pressure. Cat leap to a beautiful tour jeté. You see that a lot of times on the floor exercise, but to do that on 4 inches is not an easy task. Another combination with the side aerial. We talk about how this event has been difficult throughout the entire competition, but do remember it's only 4 inches wide, 4 feet off the ground.
It should be, right?
It should be difficult. Nice dismount, though, finishing with a 1.5.
Michigan, much like Nebraska, just trying to survive this apparatus, and a quality score for Joanna, 9.725. Now, UCLA's chances may well hinge on how they score on the vault. Here again is Sydney Sawa, the freshman.
Well, you know, Sydney got added into the lineup in finals. She's the leadoff competitor. Huge Yurchenko layup full, and that's why. Wow. A great future for this team if a freshman is not only able to deliver big scores back-to-back, but consistently sticking those landings.
I like that old John Fogerty song, right? Put me in, coach. I'm ready. 9.90 for Sydney.
2 in a row.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, over to the floor, Jacqueline Johnson is at it again. And she needs some high scores to keep pace with UCLA and Alabama.
Jacqueline is a former elite gymnast that brings a lot of confidence to this team. She's a very relaxed competitor. She finishes the routine out. Beautiful 2.5 twist. Good routines for Utah, but they definitely need to spice their choreography up because they need some big scores to stay in the mix here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're good, you could be losing ground. There's her dad, Chuck, and Grandma also looking on. Her score is a 9.775. UCLA's Sam Pescic, a dazzling freshman from Indianapolis, is ready to go on the vault.
Sam brings a lot of power to the vault we've seen all day. Yurchenko layout full, and then shows control. To have that kind of power and still be able to control the landing is very difficult. And you know, Tim, at the beginning of the season, she was completely out with a foot injury, which apparently is not a problem now.
No, not at all. And a quality 9.90 score for Sam Pescic. Now, the Crimson Tide, still on bars, have Sarah DeMeo, a 4'11 freshman mighty mite from Overland Park, Kansas.
She mounts right up to the high bar. Starting out with combination work. 2 giant blinds in a row. Right to a Jaeger. Beautiful form there. Bringing it down to the low bar. Bail to handstand. Both teams, UCLA and Alabama, are delivering big scores. It's going to take a perfect landing to keep it in that 9.9 range. And she did it. You know, that's why these two teams are right in it, because they know the importance of the landings.
Boy, how about that from a freshman? 9.85 for Sarah DeMeo. But again, more problems, Amanda, at the beam for Michigan this time. Jordan Sexton taking a fall.
It was on the punch front, a very difficult skill because you don't know you're crooked until you hit the beam, and unfortunately then on the floor very quickly.
You're right, and the heat is on. And Michigan's going to have to rely on their all-around champion, Kylie Botterman, to bail them out when we return. Get complete coverage of all the NCAA championships, including recaps and results from each event at NCAA.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. And there's Grant Boone, the nephew of 50s, 60s heartthrob and crooner Pat Boone, along with Elise Ray, calling the action for NCAA.com. Elise was the all-around champion in 01 for Michigan. Now she gets to call another all-around champion from Michigan, Kylie Botterman. Ironically, the score of 39.525 that Kylie had this year was the same as Elise Ray's 10 years ago to win the all-around championship. Amanda, take us through it.
Well, you're the all-around champion because you have the entire package, a dynamic vault, a bar routine with one of the most difficult dismounts in the competition, a very solid beam routine, which was a feat in this competition, and a powerful but near perfect floor routine that earned her multiple 9-9s across the board, and of course, this year's national title.
I really wasn't thinking about winning the all-around. That wasn't on my mind. Our goal this year was to make it to Super 6, so I always tell myself to do your best, and that's what I was trying to do my best to help the team make the Super 6, which we achieved that goal, so it was exciting.
Okay, here she is trying to keep her team really in effect in the meet.
Well, she's the gymnast you want in your lineup on all 4 events because she is a great competitor. She's consistent, but most importantly can put up big scores. So far, she's been very good at handling the pressure. Very solid standing layout step out. She talked about the importance of coming in and just doing your best, but I think she's not giving herself enough credit. She has some tremendous skills, very talented. And like we always say in our sport, most importantly, she can do it when it counts. And that's right here on the floor of the national championship. Back handspring layout, step out right to a full twist, like it was easy.
Okay. That sometimes that insecurity can be a driving force in the sport of gymnastics. A 9.875 for Kylie Botterman. The Wolverines aren't dead yet. Back over to the bars. Alabama's got several leaders. This young lady's one of them. Geraldine Stack-Eaton.
Bouncing up to the high bar. Watch this first release move. Toes on. Wow, great height. You can see she completely turned that release move over, getting great momentum, coming down to the low bar with a packed salto. Finishing with a difficult dismount combination, giant full to an immediate double Arabian. Hard landing there. You can see that step forward, but a nice routine.
She certainly was a contender for the all-around championship. Just a fantastic gymnast, Geraldine Stack-Eaton. And the tide is rolling. 9.825 on bars. Now let's quickly get over to their chief pursuer, UCLA, on vault. Tawny Fratone. She's in need of big numbers.
She has a beautiful vault, but it can be difficult to land. Half on, pike front off. Fought for it and nailed that landing. And of course, her teammates love it. Take another look. She comes off directly at vertical, sits perfectly up into the pike position, opens up, and doesn't move.
A lot of extension there. A 9.95 for Fratone. Quickly back over to the bars. This is becoming a 1-2 battle, isn't it? Kayla Hoffman now.
Both teams have depth in their lineups, and that's what gets you these big scores. Huge Tkachev. You're not seeing easy routines or easy vaults anymore. Everything is packed with skills, combinations.
I mean, it's still early. Other teams are in it, but you get a feeling that this is almost a dual meet.
Finishing it out. Double layout. Great height. And there it is. I'm telling you what. It's going to be a close competition because everybody's fighting for those landings. A 10th here, a 10th there. It's going to add up.
So many ups and downs in her career, but a 9.925. And Alabama's total score, outstanding, 49.275 on the uneven bars. All right, UCLA's Freshman of the Year in the Pac-10, Olivia Courtney.
We've seen some big vaults, but Olivia can deliver a huge Yurchenko full. Wow, there it is.
Well, that comes at just the right time as they head to the bye in the next rotation.
Let's take another look. She has great height, great body position. We've seen it all day, but watch this. She lands with her feet perfectly together and nailed it. Nice vault rotation. Indeed. Another big score for UCLA at 49.5 cumulatively. Now the beam has claimed yet another victim, Amanda. Michigan's Katie Zarellis with a fall. Well, she had a 9.05, and she struggled on her tumbling series. You can take a look. This gives you a great perspective. Side aerial to a back handspring. With 4 inches, there's just no room for error. So that should do it for Michigan's chances at a national championship. And the standings after 3 rotations, look at that. Alabama and UCLA are tied. Oklahoma right on their heels. And Amanda is backstage with UCLA's Valerie Condos-Field. Now, this has been a unique season for you guys. Started out a little rough. You've really picked up a lot of momentum. How do you get your team to peak every year at this meet?
We tend to do that. I've been thinking about that a lot because I get asked that question all the time. And I really do believe it's our entire philosophy that we have. Just, you know, it's hard to lose meets during the season, but when your win-loss record doesn't matter, you know, you have to accumulate so many points to get to the first round. That's all we focus on. And so you got to put your ego aside during the season and just keep them on track to peak in April.
Ending on the balance beam was an issue in the semifinals. How are you feeling about that?
I don't think it's going to be an issue, really. I mean, I really think it has nothing to do with the event. It has to do with the mindset. I don't really know why, but I don't anticipate them getting tight again on beam.
We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships presented by Buick. Here at the halfway mark, Tim Brando alongside Amanda Borden, the team captain of the 1996 Olympic gold medal winning team. And Amanda, no real surprises here. The defending champions, UCLA and Alabama, the hottest team coming in, are deadlocked and both still have to navigate the beam.
Well, we said it was going to be a tight competition. UCLA is ending on that event a very tough spot. So in my opinion, advantage Alabama ending on the floor.
All right, Oklahoma right now is in third, 0.3 of a point behind both UCLA and Alabama. What are their chances? They've got to do bars and the beam.
Well, I can tell you what, they still have the beam, like you mentioned, but they were the one team in the semifinals that rocked that event. So it is anybody's game still.
Okay, Amanda, the rotation order for Utah, the vault, Alabama, the dreaded beam, Oklahoma bars, and Nebraska, the floor exercise. UCLA and Michigan have buys. OU's KJ Kendler's got to be feeling oh so close, finishing with the best number on the beam in the semifinals. Her team now moves to the uneven bars. First up, Taylor Spears, freshman from Plano, Texas.
Taylor has an outstanding bar routine. Mounts right up to the high bar. Opens up with a release move. Giant blind to an immediate straddle Jaeger. Excellent handstand there. We've seen more difficult dismounts at this year's Nationals than ever. Right here again, blind landing, small step. Good routine.
You know, Alabama and UCLA, they get caught thinking they're in a dual meet. Oklahoma could slip on and really be a factor here. They're not dead yet. The score is 9.80 for Taylor Spears. All right, let's quickly get over to the beam. where we joined DeAndre Milliner for Alabama. She just got started.
Very solid flight series. Back handspring layout, step out. Comes right back with a kick over front to an immediate beat jump. You'll see the athletes combining a variety of different skills and, of course, including the favorite full turn. It seems so easy, but that's typically where we see errors.
She has really a chance, doesn't she, to set the pace on this apparatus for Alabama and really get them off to the kind of start they have to have.
Well, it's important the first few in the lineup help set the tone and get the ball rolling. I actually was the leadoff at the Olympic Games on this event. So you want the people at the beginning of your lineup to be calm and confident. All that's left is the dismount. Round off, double full. She wasn't just calm and confident, she was almost perfect.
Yeah. She knows it too. They can really put themselves in great shape if they do well here. A 9.875 for DeAndre Milliner. All right, back over to the bars we go. Oklahoma's Bree Olson. Her career best is 9.9 on the bars. Let's watch this super sophomore from St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Well, it looks like she slipped a little bit on the mount, but recovered well. Giant full. Right to the release move. Another combination to the low bar. Seen this dismount earlier. I mentioned you don't see too many girls even do it. Another full twisting double layout. Small step, but wow. I'm not sure I've ever seen multiple of that kind of dismount in one competition. It's very difficult. Something you see typically from men.
9.825 for Bree Olson. Over to the beam we go again. Kim Jacobs already underway for Alabama, the freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina.
She looked like that didn't take any effort on her flight series. Beautiful jump combination. You mentioned if they do well here, they're really setting themselves up. Almost every team has struggled on this event. So it really will be, can they make it through this event? Very difficult. It was a side aerial landing on 2 feet, almost like a Branny. All she needs to do is nail this dismount. Round off double full. Nice.
I think that deep breath she took before the dismount was the key.
Well, the tide are definitely rolling in the right direction, you might say.
Indeed, a 9.95. All right, still to come, one of Alabama's best. Geraldine Stack-Eaton, can she conquer the beam? It cost her in the semifinals. Only 4 schools have ever won the NCAA women's gymnastics title. Back in 2009, the Georgia Gym Dogs were on a streak of 4 straight national titles. Their leader, former U.S. Olympian Courtney Kupets. She won 4 individual titles, including the all-around, giving her an NCAA record 9 career titles. Her dominant performance led the Gym Dogs to their 5th straight national championship, Amanda.
Tim, she's not just the most decorated collegiate athlete. I would consider her the best collegiate gymnast we've ever seen.
Yeah, she only got better with age, it seemed. And Jay Clark, the coach at Georgia, was an assistant at that time, now the head coach. He could use a few more like her. His team made it to the Nationals, but did not make it into the finals. Here is Megan Ferguson now of Oklahoma, the junior from Kansas, up on bars.
She is tiny but filled with power. She opens up with a Jaeger. Perfect release time. You could see she was fully extended when she caught the bar. Coming right back with a giant full bail to handstand. Finishing her routine out. The full twisting double back. Very nice landing.
How about that? She is pumped. A 9.925 for Megan Ferguson. And over to the beam and issues for the veteran Kayla Hoffman. Let's look at what happened to her, Amanda.
Well, you know, like we mentioned, it's going to be, can Alabama make it through this event? This was her tumbling series, back handspring layout 2 feet. You could see completely crooked. She had absolutely no shot to stay on the beam.
So they're going to have to hope to throw that score out. Meanwhile, back to the bars we go, and Natasha Kelly of Oklahoma.
Starting right out on the high bar. Beautiful handstand there. Excellent release move. Bringing it down to the low bar with the pack salto. Natasha, an elite athlete, really brings that excellence to this event, holding every handstand, making sure the judges know, yes, I am about as perfect as it's going to get, finishing double layout. She likes it. Coaches like it.
Chalk is flying. And there you see her score, 9.950, and a great score overall, 49.30 for Oklahoma. And Geraldine Stack-Eaton, here she is preparing for her opportunity on the beam, and she had problems in the semifinals, Amanda.
Well, I mentioned it earlier. It's a small skill, but a very big mistake. In fact, that mistake cost her the all-around title. And you have to wonder, is that in the back of her mind as she's mounting the beam, knowing she needs to hit this routine because they're hoping to throw out Kayla's score from earlier.
Well, this is the most important beam performance of her career.
Switch leap, right to a Sissone. Coming right back with her flight series. Back handspring layout, step out, small balance check. Beautiful front aerial. And here it comes. This is where she struggled in the prelims. Simple full turn. Much better today. She's got to feel good to have that one out of the way, but she's not done. Nice jump connection. She has one more major skill in this routine. It's in a nodi. You'll see she half turns to her hands to almost a front handspring out. Invented by Henrietta Onodi. Done perfectly. She just needs to get off the beam safely here. Finishing it out, round off 1.5. They did it. Wow.
She had wonderful lines through that entire routine, and then the absolute perfect dismount. Her score, a 9.875, and look at that cumulative score, 49.350. That's the best at the Nationals cumulatively for any team. With only the floor left, Alabama is in a great position after that fantastic score. But with UCLA in a bye in the last rotation, they're in a virtual dead heat on average. Here's Sarah Patterson with Amanda Borden.
Sarah, this is the first time in the Super 6 era that only one SEC team has made it to the Super 6. Do you feel like you're carrying the weight for the SEC?
Well, you know, we're happy to be representing the SEC, but I think that there's just so much parity in college gymnastics right now that you have to be on every given night. And I know in the SEC, this has prepared us for this competition.
Well, big scores tonight, but most importantly, you overcame an issue on the beam with another big score there. How confident are you ending on the floor?
Well, I think our ladies, it's a strong event for us. I think they can go out, relax, and do their job. You know, we've said all along it comes down to teamwork, and Kayla Hoffman's been a rock for us all year, and our ladies just stepped up for her tonight.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and good luck.
Oklahoma is next on the beam. They've been number one all year long on that apparatus. It's their last chance at a championship statement. Difficult waters indeed. After this message and a word from your local station. Fifth rotation with Nebraska on the vault, Oklahoma at the beam. UCLA comes back with uneven bars, and Michigan will be on Florex. Utah and Alabama each with buys. Valerie Kondos Field, Amanda, four-time National Coach of the Year, the defending national champion. She exudes confidence. I think it's passed along to all of her gymnasts, too.
I think so. I think that she expects them to perform, and they train for these kind of moments to handle the pressure.
Here is Olivia Courtney. Pressure-packed indeed. They know they have got to come up with monster scores here to keep up with Alabama.
Well, to deliver those scores, what the judges are specifically looking for is the vertical lines. Of course, good form on everything. And it's going to be down to the fine line in every single landing at the end of these routines. Right there, perfect. A little short on that handstand. She winds it up, finishing full twisting double tuck. Little off balance there, tried to hide that though. So it'll be a good start. They're going to definitely want to tighten it up a little bit, making sure that they nail everything.
9.85 for Olivia Courtney. Now, KJ Kindler came over to Oklahoma from Iowa State to become the 2010 National Coach of the Year. Her team has really maximized, and Taylor Spears is already underway on the beam.
Well, they were the one team that was solid in the semifinals, so they should be confident coming into this, knowing they're very capable of putting up a big score here. Beautiful Onodi right to a beat jump. This is a tough event to end on. A lot of pressure, and of course, they need big scores as she finishes her routine out. 2 back handsprings to a 1.5. Beautiful combination and a perfect landing.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, the deck is stacked against Oklahoma having to finish. There's her mother, Mary. She's pretty pumped up, and KJ is too. A great score, 9.90 for Taylor Spears of Oklahoma. Back to the bars we go. Monique De La Torre from your home state now, Arizona, sophomore.
I watched Monique as a club gymnast, and she's always been powerful, but as a collegiate gymnast, she's really come into her own world. You'll see right here, starting out with a big hop full. Let's go at the bar, full twist, 3 catches, directly to a ginger. Very nice. Beautiful. Toe hecht back up to the high bar. Finishing it out. The double layout. With an accent. Exclamation point. Here I am. I just stuck it.
Well, this is exactly what Valerie Kondo's field had to have. Tremendous scores on the uneven bars. 9.925 for De La Torre. Back to the beam we go. Natalie Radcliffe underway from Overland Park, Kansas.
Great combination. Front aerial, right to a back handspring swing down. We mentioned the strength for Oklahoma on this event. They have great skills, but they do them flawless. There are very few teams that can score multiple 9-9s on this event, and that is this exact lineup. Nice leap combination, finishing it with tuck full. And a creative dismount connection, the very difficult but easy full turn, directly connected to that gainer full.
Wow. Boy, Oklahoma just won't go away. And her family, Steve and Cindy, mom and dad, happy that they're still in it. A 9.90 on beam for Natalie Radcliffe. Boy, what a finish we've got in Cleveland coming up. Hoffner-Hibbs is ready to go on bars.
We talked about them losing Vanessa Zamaripa. Well, this is the athlete they have counted on all season long. Great competitor, giant full, right to a bail handstand. Giant blind, watch this, releases over the bar. Very nice. All that's left is the dismount. This is the one skill she specifically has struggled on throughout the season, and it's been with the landing. Little early. Wow, great save there. She came off early. You could see she had to pike it down and, of course, a step forward. But other than that deduction, there wasn't much else to take.
I mean, as you look at it, 9.825, those are really good scores, but you need 9 nines to hang with Alabama right now. Megan Ferguson, back to the beam we go for Oklahoma to try to maintain contact with the title.
She has just been so fun to watch all day. She's a great personality, brings a lot of energy to her routines. And even some personality into that full turn. We've talked about hanging with Alabama's 9 nines. That's exactly what Oklahoma has done so far in this event. All she has left is her dismount. Double full. And another perfect landing.
Boy, you bet. They are showing why they were number 1 in the country. There's Mom Mary looking on as Megan gets another 9-9 for the Sooners on the beam. Meanwhile, over at the bars, Amanda, the anticipation builds for Sam Pescic. They are in need of more 9-9s on this apparatus.
And she's very capable of that. She has beautiful extension. Starting right out with a ginger above the bar. Beautiful. Brings it right back. Bail to handstand. She finishes with the same dismount we saw from Elise, a double layout. A much better position off the bar, and of course a much better landing there.
Those little steps have been problematic for just about everyone on bars, but that was solid. You're right. For Sam Pescic, she did handle it. 9.875 for her, and look at the cumulative score, 49.325 for UCLA. So they are very much in the race. Back to the beam we go. Natasha Kelly of Oklahoma.
Well, the pressure is off so far because they've done such a great job. She just needs to do the routine that she's been doing all season long. Full twisting back handspring.
Last chance to impress for OU.
A nice full turn. All that's left is that dismount. She dismounts off the side. Cartwheel to immediate gainer layout full. Beautiful.
Not much more you can do, is there?
There is not.
Troy and Peggy, mom and dad looking on. And the Sooners wind up at 49.425. What an amazing score. Certainly worthy of their #1 standing all season long on that apparatus. So right now the Sooners are in the lead. But as you look at the averages here, Alabama and UCLA are in a dead heat going into the final rotation. KJ Kindler is with Amanda.
KJ, what a performance. My goodness, most teams dread ending on that event. Not your team. You have to be so proud. One of the best beam teams in the nation brought 3 9-9s today.
We were so excited, actually. We got this draw for the 5th time in a row. How is that possible? But our team's been super steady on beam all year long. It's our strongest event, so we love to end it with an exclamation point.
Well, you're heading to a bye, not an easy place to be. Do you think your team did enough?
They did everything they could, so, you know, we just have to sit and watch and see what happens.
All right, Oklahoma's done all they can do. UCLA must defend their title on the treacherous beam, and Alabama looks to claim the title on the floor. Here's Alabama head coach Sarah Patterson on winning her first national title.
I think in 1988 when we won our first national championship in Salt Lake City, and I believe the CBS reporter put the microphone in front of me and said, how does it feel to be the first team besides Alabama football at the University of Alabama to ever win a championship? And I thought, we get to be a small part of the rich history and tradition of the University of Alabama, and I think I will forever remember that moment.
Now here we are in 2011. Her team is the #1 seed, and #1s have won the NCAA championship 18 times in the previous 29 years. As you look at the rotation order, UCLA on the beam and Alabama on floor. Now, Oklahoma has the unenviable task of having to sit, wait, and watch for a chance at their first ever national title. What do they need? They need Alabama to score less than that on the floor and UCLA less than that on the beam, something the Bruins did not do in the semifinals, but Alabama did accomplish. And here's Kim Jacob with a little sweet home action to get things started.
Well, a great way to get your floor lineup started. The entire Alabama crowd goes wild the minute they hear that music. She opens with a beautiful double pike. We talked about ending on this event. Most teams feel like this is the easiest event under pressure in competition. 1.5 immediate front full.
Yeah, but do they have this much on the line?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a national championship on the line, no event is easy. Beautiful flexibility, finishing that lead pass with the Shushanova.
I think they felt the pressure, though, Amanda, when they saw the rotation order come out, that it was set up for them. So there's added pressure to finish it off.
I know personally, if I had to end on an event and there was everything riding on it like a national championship, this would be the event I would want to be on. Been an outstanding floor routine. 1 pass to go. Finishing combination 1.5 front layout. Great start.
Oh, yeah. It's been since 2002 they claimed a national title. Can they get one today? And for Kim, a 9.85. That's a good start. While she was on the floor, Aisha Gerber was getting started on the balance beam.
From the very top of this competition, we talked about can they handle the mental pressure. And then a little friendly reminder, your toughest competition, Alabama, is on the floor right now.
That really does play a role, doesn't it?
You know what? Gymnastics, every one of these athletes is talented. It really becomes a mental competition. Who can handle the pressure when it counts? And there's nothing like trying to win a national championship on this event. Side summy. Last year, they put senior Annalie up in this position because it is a tough position to lead off on this event. But Aisha has done a great job all season long. Finishing it out with this very difficult tumbling series directly connected to the dismount. We've seen some athletes struggle today with it. Back handspring layout, step out, immediate full twist. Nice routine. She has to feel great about that start.
Her mom and dad, Keith and Joan, look on, and her score is a 9.85, and that puts them 25 thousandths of a point behind Alabama, so they don't make up any ground. Let's get back to the floor and Ashley Sledge of Alabama.
Tim, watch the height she gets on all of her tumbling passes. Opening with a front through to double tuck. Almost has to slow her rotation down at the end to get that solid landing. She really looks like she's having a great time as she gets ready for that second tumbling pass. Right handspring, front layout. Tim, in the past, we've talked about the difference between the SEC floor routines versus some of the other teams, and we always say the SEC has a swagger, and you're going to see that right here.
I think Georgia started it, and everybody else sort of fell in line, don't you?
You have to hang in the SEC. It's a competitive conference. But it really makes it fun to watch this event when you see the athletes getting into their floor music and really just having a good time. Finishing huge double pike. Ooh, whoa, little over-rotated there, but she stayed in bounds. So not perfect, but probably good enough.
Yes, Ashley Sledge with a 9.80. That gives UCLA a little wiggle room as we go back over to the beam. Very important here that this outstanding gymnast, Elise Hoffner-Hibbs, do a great job. It's been a very productive day for her so far.
Well, she mounts this event with a mission. Side aerial, immediate layout, step out, small balance check, but you can see she just commands her body into the position she wants.
This taking place obviously a bit earlier while Ashley Sledge was on the floor. You can hear the music behind us.
She shows beautiful flexibility on that illusion. Small balance check. We talked about how Elise has continually stepped up this year for the Bruins. Finishing it out, round off double full.
Well, now that was a magnificent finish for Elise, as you see William Hibbs and Diane Hoffner, mom and dad looking on. And this score moves UCLA back into a tie with Alabama, which, by the way, if that happens, they will add in the drop scores for each team to determine the winner. Now, Marissa Gutierrez on floor exercise for Alabama.
She opens with a huge first pass, double layout. Beautiful. We talked about the impact of the podium on their tumbling passes. You'll see some added height, but very important that they stay in control. Not only landing cleanly, but staying in those bounds. Coming right back, full front layout.
Oh, you can hear the impact it has on the floor with those landings.
You see a lot of the athletes make eye contact with their teammates. They're all penned in a box over there, but throughout this season, it's so fun. The teammates get into their routines. You'll see them clapping and cheering. And quite often doing the routine on the sidelines. Ending with a difficult double pike. Little step back there, but nice finish.
Nice indeed, but these numbers are not dominant for Alabama on the floor. And right now they're tied with UCLA, and each of them are trying to catch Oklahoma, who's in a bye in this final rotation, 9.850 for Gutierrez. And here is the outstanding senior leader, Nikki Tom, on the beam for UCLA. And this, of course, was while Marissa Gutierrez was on the floor.
Very difficult open tumbling pass. One arm front handspring right to a side summy. Typically, you see gymnasts tumbling backwards on the beam, so it's not as common to see that front tumbling pass all in connection as well.
You know, she had that fall in floor X. You know, she'd like to make up for that, get some redemption at just the right time for UCLA.
Leap connection to a back handspring swing down. UCLA had some struggles in the semifinals. And I think you mentioned how Val is a confident coach. I think she relays that confidence. She feels very confident coming into this event that will not happen again. And you can see that in her athletes. Finishing round off double full.
Wow. Mom and Dad on hand, they're loving it. Michael and Sue. And how about this? UCLA with this score, 9.875, has pulled ahead of Alabama on the beam. And Oklahoma's got to be worried about their position now in the bye round. So what's left? How about the 2011 champion Sam Pescic for UCLA on the beam, and the 2011 floor champ Geraldine Stack-Eaton for Alabama? A title awaits. Talk of dominance. Since 1997, 13 of the 14 NCAA titles have been won by either Georgia or UCLA. The lone exception, Alabama's in 2002. Valerie Condosfield exuding confidence in her team. Look at what they've managed to do on the toughest apparatus, and a tension-filled Sarah Patterson looking on as Deandra Milliner gets started on the floor. They're in need of a big-time score here.
Well, they've had a good lineup so far, but Alabama is capable of some big scores on this event, and especially from Deandra. Opening up with a double Arabian, very difficult landing, nailed it.
I mean, you cannot absorb a step out at all here, can you?
Well, at this point, I mean, it's very impressive that UCLA has stepped slightly ahead on the balance beam. But like we mentioned, Alabama has the complete advantage. All they need to do is have clean landings here. Second tumbling pass is a front tumbling pass connection. Front layout right to a front full. Very nice. Great height on her leap pass. Making eye contact with her teammates right there. Little energy boost for this last pass because she finishes with a big double pike. Great lift off the floor. Not a perfect landing, but a good landing.
Momentum building on the floor as Milliner comes away with an outstanding performance. Right when Sarah Patterson needed it, too. Not quite a 9.9, a 9.875 for Deandra Milliner. A critical time now for UCLA, Amanda. If you think back to the semifinals, the issues that Brittany McCullough, as well as the entire UCLA team, did on the beam.
Well, she struggled with her tumbling series. You can see her foot completely slipped off. And this is an athlete that is considered one of their best all-arounders. You don't typically see her make mistakes. Now, the question is, pressure is on. Can she block that out and get the job done in the finals?
Valerie said with the loss of Zamaripa that she had leaders by committee. Well, we'll see how that holds up.
Opens up, punch front. She looks solid. Here it is, Tim. This is her tumbling series. Back handspring layout, step out. A little doubt there in the landing, but happy to still be on the beam.
When you hear that music from the floor exercise of Milliner, this obviously happening at the time that Deandra was performing. And she's trying to match the 9.875 that Milliner received.
Switch leap, directly connected to that straddle jump. She's had a few balance checks throughout this routine. Finishing out, though, difficult round of double tuck. A little short on the landing, had to take a step forward. But much better than the semifinals, that's for sure.
There's her dad, Maurice, and mom, Vanessa. She was holding on at the end, and that score, a 9.725. Not exactly what she wanted. All Oklahoma can do is watch. It may be slipping away for them. And UCLA dropped more than a tenth of a point to Alabama as Geraldine Stack-Eaton, the 2011 NCAA floor champion, gets going. And all she needs is a 9.70 to eliminate Oklahoma from the national championship.
Well, she's national champion on this event because she has the whole package. Big tumbling, starting out with a huge double Arabian. Difficult landing, very close to that boundary, which would have been a 10th, but she stayed in line. She has beautiful extension through her dance, as well as that sense of confidence in her attitude. Very nice 1.5 front layout. This has been a flawless routine. There's only one tumbling pass left, and of course, it's not an easy one. She finishes her routine with a double pike.
Oh, look at the coaches looking on. Oh, they're taking a deep breath, too.
Nothing like sitting back and watching, counting on that landing right there. She did it.
Yeah, that may, in fact, have done it.
And she knows it.
So does her teammates. Geraldine Stack Eaton. And all Oklahoma can do in the Bay Area is say congratulations. A 9.925 eliminates Oklahoma from contention for the national championship. And the suspense builds at the beam for Sam Pesek, the 2011 NCAA beam champion.
Opened with the front aerial. You saw a little bit of doubt in that landing. Lead connection through to a layout step out.
This while Stack Eaton was performing on the floor. Again, I think that's one of the real advantages to being on floor while the other team is on beam. Those constant audio reminders.
Connecting her tumbling series to the dismount. Back handspring layout, step out, immediate full twist.
Oh, that was tough. I mean, really outstanding to think you're hearing Roll Tide roll in the midst of your dismount. Her dad is certainly appreciative. Ed cheering on his daughter Sam, a 9.80. That's a quality score on the beam. But as you can see, Alabama, by our championship standards, has a bit of a commanding lead, with UCLA dropping into a tie with Oklahoma. And how about this for Kayla Hoffman? Who better to be in this position to clinch an NCAA championship? She needs a 9.85. She's been through an emotional roller coaster throughout her entire career at the capstone.
Opening with a pike full in.
Even in these finals, she had the bobble on the beam. Remember, I mean, so much for her to get through for this team to win a championship for the first time in 9 years.
Combination pass, round off 1.5, front layout.
You get a sense that she gathered confidence on that last tumble run, huh?
Well, this is a great event, not just for Alabama, but specifically for Kayla. Tumbling pass left.
For a national championship.
Double pike. Perfect. She knows it. You can see in her face. What a great finish.
Kayla Hoffman, Alabama, you've done it. Tears of joy. She cannot get to her teammates soon enough.
What a moment.
9.95, near perfection for Hoffman. And now, boy, you talk about a difficult routine to pull off. Olivia Courtney trying to clinch second place.
Dismounting with a difficult double tuck. She only needs a 9.75. It was a solid routine and good enough for second. Just a tough place to be, ending on the balance beam.
It was, but a 9.85, and the defending champions will wind up in second place. There are the final standings. Alabama becomes the national champions for the first time since 2002, dethroning UCLA. Oklahoma, a very solid third. We will be back to talk with the champions right after this. Alabama thought they would get a great start and a strong finish. They did both to claim their 5th national title, and they're with Amanda Borden.
Congratulations, Sarah. It has been 9 years. What is it like to add a fifth to the Bama trophy case?
You know, this has been an amazing year. These ladies have meant everything to our staff, and it was enjoy the ride. That was our goal. That's what we wanted to do, and these ladies stayed in the Bama bubble, and this is an amazing experience.
Well, what a ride tonight. I'll tell you what, you guys were phenomenal on all 4 events. It's been an incredible year. Picked up a lot of momentum, great semifinals, but most importantly, you guys nailed the floor, finished back-to-back with 299s.
I mean, I knew from the beginning this was such a special team, and as a senior, they've meant so much to me, and there's so many emotions, going on right now, so I'm just so incredibly proud of this team and so happy to be a part of it.
Well, it seemed like everything was going your direction. Did you guys think your year would end this way?
I don't think so. I think, we started the year, kind of struggled, had some adversity, and it just all kind of came together. And because we're so close, that made the difference. It's not about talent. Sometimes it's about the heart.
Well, congratulations. You guys are the 2011 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Champions.
All right, it'll be Roll Tide Roll back to Tuscaloosa, and congratulations to them all. Coming up next, the CBS Sports Spectacular National High School Slam Dunk and Three-Point Championship. For Amanda Board and our entire crew, this is Tim Brando saying so long. And once again, congratulations to Alabama.